We're going to cover everything about the RG505. We're going to compare it to the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, and we're going to discuss if it's worth your hard-earned cash. Another week, another retro gaming handheld, and this time it's the RG505. Anbernic had a bit of a slump this year in 2022 with a lot of devices that didn't quite hit the mark, which we've discussed a lot on this channel. But recently with the RG353, Anbernic seemed to be on a bit of a comeback, and the RG505 looks to be continuing that trend. We discussed in a video a couple of months ago the issues that the RG505 faced and the difficult uphill struggle that it had to become a competitor in this really hot retro gaming market. But now that we have information about the RG505 and it's available for pre-order, we can really discuss how this compares to other consoles like the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus and whether it's really worth your money. Now, the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus is going to be the RG505's biggest competitor. A lot of people have mentioned the AY and Odin as well, but I still think that AY and Odin sits in a league slightly above the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus and the RG505. But what makes the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus such a strong competitor to the RG505 is that they are near identical systems. Now, to prove that, let's get into some direct comparisons. First of all, both the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus and the RG505 are going for the Unisoc Tiger T618 processor. On top of that, both systems will use the Mali G52 GPU at 850 MHz, as well as both using 4GB of DDR4 RAM, 128GB of storage, and with both offering 5G Wi-Fi capabilities. Now, that is where the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus and the RG505 are absolutely identical, but even in the areas where they differ, they are still incredibly similar, with the RG505 potentially having a slight upper hand on the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, which really surprised me. The Retroid Pocket 3 Plus has a 4.7-inch touchscreen, whereas the RG505 has a 4.95-inch OLED touchscreen. As my PS Vita fans out there will know, OLED screens are absolutely gorgeous, and it was really nice to see an OLED screen on the Anbernic RG503, a console that otherwise didn't have a lot of strong features about it. So it's awesome to see Anbernic putting a screen like this into such a highly competitive device. Furthermore, the Retroid Pocket 3 uses Android 11, whereas the RG505 will be using Android 12. Now, Anbernic have had issues implementing Android in the past, but hopefully they've learned from the lesson. And finally, the RG505 will have a bigger battery, whereas the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus has a 4500 mAh battery. The RG505 will have a 5000 mAh battery, which should hopefully give you some more gaming time, although the OLED screen could suck all that up. And what's even more amazing when we come to the comparisons, these devices are both similarly priced, with both of them coming in at around about the $150 mark. However, the reality of that is slightly different, because if you do go to order these devices from the main websites, the RG505 is going to end up more expensive due to shipping and taxes, whereas the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus didn't have that much of a difference. However, that's not a major issue, because you can go on AliExpress and get the RG505 cheaper from the Anbernic store there, which brings it toe-to-toe with the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus in terms of price. Now, we have started to see some video footage from Anbernic of the RG505 playing PlayStation 2 and GameCube games, and you guys know this is where I am most interested. I'm still waiting for that budget-friendly handheld device that can play PlayStation 2 and GameCube games as well as a Steam Deck. I know we might be a long way off, but the Retroid Pocket 3 is edging ever closer, and now the RG505 looks like it could be just as close, if not maybe even better than the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus. Honestly, I wasn't expecting a lot from the RG505 when I very first heard about it. Anbernic's recent track record have left me a little bit disappointed, but now that I'm seeing the true potential of the RG505, I am really excited and I need to get my hands on one of these. A couple of weeks ago, we discussed why a perfect retro gaming handheld is just not going to exist, why manufacturers just won't make it. However, this RG505 looks to be as close to perfect as I could imagine. It might be even better than the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus. But there is still one issue. And that issue is it hasn't got staggered shoulder buttons, it's going for in-serial shoulder buttons. That's always going to be an issue for me, and that's why I love the Retroid Pocket devices so much. But you now have the really difficult decision of whether you go for a Retroid Pocket 3 Plus or an RG505. And to help you make that decision, check out this episode right here.